The Flames have a golden opportunity to enhance their future at the NHL Entry Draft in June. New prospect and draft rankings have been revealed, and they have given fans a glimpse at who might be available in the first 3 rounds for the team from Cowtown, and let's just say it has the Sea of Red very excited. We're going to get into all that and more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family, and like I said, this golden opportunity is revolved around the draft, so let's talk about round one, as the Flames do have a couple of picks. So like I said, some draft rankings, some prospect rankings have dropped, some new ones, and a good little intro to this is actually a little tweet here from Ryan Pike. So Stephen Ellis, he's the one from Daily Faceoff who came up with his new top 80 1 month before the draft starts, so it's his new NHL draft rankings. He says it's time for new NHL draft rankings, the top 80, and Ryan Pike points out that the Flames as of now have 4 picks in the top 30 of the 2025 NHL draft. They have the 18th pick for sure, either the 31st or 32nd, which is funny because that's just assuming that Florida makes the final up 3-1. There's a chance Carolina can still make the final, and fingers crossed it does happen, but to be realistic, he says 31st or 32nd. Fair enough. They also have the 57th pick and the 80th in that top 80. So what are we going to do? We're going to go over the players in that top 80 draft rankings and see who kind of falls in that range and who we might be able to take. Now, the first one here at 18th is Cullen Potter, a left winger from Arizona State University in the NCAA. So Potter made the big decision to go to college early, and it paid off. He played around 20 minutes a night at ASU, and scouts were impressed with his play-driving abilities. He's 5'9", but his pure skill and ability to make things happen with the puck should keep him high in the draft conversation. Overall, I like his commitment to playing in all 3 zones, and he anticipates plays and gets himself where he needs to be better than most of the draft class. I think the ceiling is higher for Potter than many others around this part of the draft, but he needs to show he can handle the physical challenge. Fast-tracking to play at ASU early was an absolute genius move for his development and helped him push up draft boards, and that is honestly fantastic to hear. Will we be taking wingers? I'm not too sure. We'll have to see. A lot of people are on the, just draft best available vibe. Some people are saying draft the positions you need. But anyway, Cullen Potter, so as we saw, he is a left winger. He's from Minneapolis, Minnesota, not St. Paul. And this past season with ASU, in 35 games, he had 22 points, 13 goals, 9 assists. Not the most eye-popping numbers, but overall seems like quite a good player. Obviously, he's still quite young. 18 years old, getting 22 points in the NCAA ain't too bad at all. You got to keep in mind his age, of course. Next one here in the first round, of course, is at 31st, a man we've spoken about before, but I think everyone really likes him. It's Jack Nesbitt, a center from the Windsor Spitfires in the O. So the Spitfires have a strong case to go to the distance this year, which is great for people who want to see more of Nesbitt. He's been playing some great hockey recently, aggressive but effective. He's also shooting a lot too, averaging 5 shots a game over his past 5 outings. Nesbitt was often one of Windsor's better shot generators, and while he isn't putting up Liam Greentree numbers, he's still going to finish at close to a point per game. He's a big 6'4" center. Teams typically like that. I wish he had more top speed, but I think Nesbitt has a solid ceiling, and he's definitely the kind of player we would want to go for. Let's check his facts as well. Almost the same birthday as the last guy, but he's from Sarnia, Ontario. Last season with the Spitfires in the O, he was almost a point per game at 64 points in 65 games, so essentially a point per game. Good stats, 25 goals, 39 assists, a plus 12, a big improvement from last year. And overall, he just seems like a very good player. He's someone who has shot up a lot of people's draft rankings, and the Flames could get him. A lot of people are saying maybe take him with the 18th overall pick, but if they could get him with their second first rounder, I think that would be an absolute steal. We love taking players from the O, of course, so I think this is a great guy to keep your eye on. If you're not excited about Jack Nesbitt, maybe start to get to, because he's been linked to the Flames quite a bit. Next man on the list is Bill Zonin, a left wing from the Rio Noranda Huskies in the Q. I like Zonin. He's very energetic, a tremendous playmaker, and is looking more comfortable as a shooter too. He's physical, smart, and is an excellent passer who can do some dangerous things with the puck. When he has the puck, he makes things happen in open space. Without it, he creates space for his teammates, and he gets himself to the net. It feels like Zonin has been underappreciated and that he deserves more attention for his worth work ethic, and tremendous vision. He's the type of player you can stick with other high-end talents and find success. I can see him going 10 spots higher in this draft if the team thinks they can mold him into something they need. So maybe a player who will need, a little bit more development than some others, but he seems very good. If we get into his facts, he's a lefty. He's from Montreal, so obviously he's grown up with hockey. Big guy here as well. This past season, unbelievable stats. In 64 games, he had 83 points, 28 goals, 55 assists. He's another guy who was shot up in draft rankings a lot over the last bit here. So, honestly, seems like another fantastic player. Again, it's a winger, but sometimes if you're drafting the best available, he might just be that. He has all good attributes in a way, just needs obviously a lot of development, but you'd expect that out of any player you draft. So one day he could genuinely be a star, but projected to be a late first rounder, so the Flames could definitely pick him up there. Now, let's get into rounds 2 and 3, as it is the top 80 we're going over, and the next pick we have is 57. So let's see who's 57th on the draft rankings. Well, it's Mr. Charlie Trethewey. I think that's how you pronounce that. There could be a million different ways to pronounce that name. But either way, he's a right-handed defenseman from the USN TDP. So Trethewey, I honestly have no idea, is a solid two-way defenseman who at times has shown some serious flash. At one point last year, he led the U17 USN TDP in scoring. This year, he's a bit more reserved both in the USHL and against college players, but there's still a lot to like about the way he moves the puck and gets into scoring lanes. He's one of the youngest players in the draft, is a right-handed shot, and he's smart too. He is prone to trying to do too much and can make mistakes, but he's a reasonable project prospect. I think most prospects are project prospects other than, the bona fide superstars like Celebrini from last year, but it's true. He seems good. Again, right-handed D is not really what the Flames have. They honestly have too much of that. But it's never a bad thing to draft the best available. So why not give the article a chance here and see what he's like. If we get into his facts here, he's from Woodbine, Maryland. Wow, didn't expect that. As we saw, he is a righty shot, obviously. He's actually still only 17 years old, which is pretty crazy. Won't be 18 until August. But let's see here. Does that mean he can't be drafted? Maybe I'm just talking nonsense now. I don't even know what's going on. But either way, he's a good prospect. Maybe if not this year, then next year. Maybe should have fact-checked back, but whatever. You guys like watching these videos. But either way, in 24 games this year, had just 9 points. Not really much of a two-way guy anymore, but I don't think he was ever truly expected to be a super offensive threat. But either way, seems like a very good prospect here. Who knows? If he's draft eligible, the Flames could pick him up. I don't know. That's what Ryan Pike was alluding to, so I'm alluding to it as well. But either way, let's get into our last guy here, someone we could pick up in the third round at 80th pick, and it's Shamar Moses, another winger, this time from the North Bay Battalion from the O. So Moses was one of my favorite players from the 2023 OHL draft because his work ethic was outstanding. He has a modest 48 points in 66 OHL games this year, but he played hard, worked hard, and hit even harder. The North Bay Battalion forward is exactly the type of player you want causing havoc in your bottom six. He doesn't want you anywhere near the puck. Moses might not have much high-end potential, but there are some obvious pro traits to his game. So essentially kind of your standard third rounder. Could be an NHLer, could not be. Would be in the bottom six, so overall interesting. But let's take a look at his facts. He doesn't even have a photo in Hockey DB, but he's from Scarborough, Ontario, essentially from Toronto, so another guy who probably grew up just with hockey all over the place. This past season with North Bay, he had 48 points in 61 games. Not too bad. He was pointless in 5 games with the Barrie Colts. Man, what a disaster over in Barrie. But either way, he's put up pretty good stats. Again, you'd probably expect him to be a third rounder. Would he crack the NHL? Who knows? Maybe in the right place. Sometimes guys like that do end up making it and become great bottom six guys or even middle six guys. But that's someone to keep your eye on for that Flames third round pick at 80th overall. But there you go. That's the top 80 prospects, the ones that fall where we are picking. Let me know if you like any of these guys or if you prefer some of the guys we've already taken a look at on the channel, or if there's just other guys you like anyway. Now let's get into the comment of the day to wrap up this video here. It comes from yesterday's video, of course, and it comes from Jackson. Now, Jackson said something interesting here. Let me make this a little bigger for us so we can read it. And it's something a lot of people have spoken about, but I like the way Jackson put it here. He said, I think the Flames should go all in on the second overall pick from the Sharks, the target being Misa, as he can be a potential first-line center that we need so badly in our future. True. I think the price would be Andersson, 50% retained for the Sharks to have as a trade piece, the 18th or Florida's pick, and lastly, Connor Zary. Zary being a proven NHLer for the Sharks to grow with their team, but the drop in value due to injuries. I don't think it'd happen because it's too bold, but I think it'd be worth the price. We have Luke Misa and Michael Isparek center from Saginaw. Yes, Michael Misa would be a perfect fit for the Calgary Flames, not only because his brother's in the organization and because he's played with Parek, but also just because he's arguably the best center in this year's draft. So it's a lot to give up. I don't know if the Sharks would be the team to do this, honestly. But either way, I like what's going on here. Now that Zary's creeping into some trade talks, it is interesting overall. And we'll just have to wait and see what Conroy cooks up this offseason before the draft starts. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe like you saw here today and have a wonderful rest of your day.